welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. So this is a late night, Friday night edition, kind of odd. Normally we do this on Saturday night, but tomorrow night at our normal time, Notre Dame and Texas A&M are going to be on live in the primetime game on on ABC. So we decided to push this, and also we decided to try it at a different time and see what type of turnout we got. Right now it's looking kind of slow, kind of empty. So we'll wait a few minutes and see if we get anything going in the chat before we get started. But got my main man G with me. What's good, G?
What's going on, Bruce? Fellas.
Maintaining as always. Yeah, no doubt, man. I think we got some pretty interesting stuff to talk about tonight, man.
Oh yeah. No questions. We got the Buffs.
Yeah.
It's a real popular team, man. Extremely popular team.
Oh, that's what you think?
Oh yeah, that's what I know.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely one of the biggest stories in sports still.
Yep.
And a lot of that, of course, got to do with Deion, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I was watching that game last night, and it was very interesting. Definitely had me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, very entertaining.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine what it would have been today if they had lost, because I'm like, man, North Dakota State came out and had no fear whatsoever. That would have been real interesting.
Yeah, especially for Deion, man. But he got some superstars on that team, man. Those guys are pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, he got definitely a lot.
Quick question for you though. I got a quick question. It's a little off subject.
Did
you see the joint where LeBron was trying to slide in the GOAT talk? Did you see that?
Man. Again, that's what he does, man. That's what he does. We actually gonna touch on that with the quick hits, man. That is definitely what he does. It's crazy, man. Absolutely wild. But you know what? Let's just go ahead and get started, and we'll see where it goes from there, man. So like I mentioned, normally we do these shows on Saturday night, 7 p.m., but we try to do something a little different tonight. Maybe we see if we could catch a different viewing audience, see how that goes, and again, got big stuff this weekend, still trying to figure out the timing on how all that goes. So here we are, and but before we get started, man, y'all know if you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't. All right. So yeah, G, let's go ahead and get started with some quick hits before we get into these main topics that we got right here. And you actually brought it up, and that was one of the ones I wanted to touch on, was LeBron trying to work himself back into the GOAT discussion, as always, man. What's the deal with this guy, man? What's up, G?
I saw this interesting. So we look at it from so many different views, right? Like, but I'll let you talk about the GOAT debate and how it all came down, and then I'll give you my 2 cents on what I think about all this madness.
Man, honestly, first of all, like I've always said, and anybody who watches this show knows, man, I really don't believe there is a GOAT debate. There's no GOAT. There's no GOAT debate. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, hands down. But for a lot of people, there is a GOAT debate, and we'll actually we'll touch on that in this and the next quick hit. But why I brought this up in terms of LeBron trying to work himself into the GOAT debate, again, as always, is recently he was that's his show called The Shop, I guess, the new season or whatever. And look, the guy is a genius when it comes to the marketing and self-promotion, right? Let's be real here. Self-promotion and promoting anything with which he's involved. And so I guess the excerpt comes out and he's talking about, I guess he was asked, like, what is Bronny going to call him dad, on the Lakers team? So Here's a clip from it. Check it out. We'll come back and talk about it real quick.
Already laid that. No, we already laid. No, he can't. We already laid that down. You cannot call me dad in the workplace. All right. Once we leave out of the private facility and the gates close, I could be dad again. In the car, if we ride together. At home, I could be dad. No, he got to call me like 2-3 or Brian.
Okay.
Or GOAT if he want to. That's up to him. I mean, it's up to him.
Was that necessary? Was that really necessary? He begging to be called GOAT so bad. Go ahead, G.
Thought that was a really good dad moment, right? A really, really good dad moment. What would your son call you in the workplace, right? That was that was a pretty good question from I guess whoever was asking it, but
That was a good question.
but he saw an opportunity to try to amplify his brand and call himself the GOAT, which I don't think he qualifies. We talked about that. We talked about it Wednesday, right? Like in Wednesday, I was like, he's pretty much he is probably one of the best all around players, right? Well, in terms of being able to do everything okay. But when you start talking about the real killers, the real, people that move the league, he's not even in that food chain in my eyes.
I agree.
He's not in that food chain. And so I think he's a great player. I think he's a great player. The GOAT is crazy. I don't think that's in this. He won't see that, man. He lost too much.
I agree. There you go.
And he sold his soul to win.
Yeah.
So his pride, I should say.
Yeah, he lost too much. He sold his soul to win, and to me, his game has too many deficiencies to be greatest of all time. But we're not even going to get into that whole thing. That's a long thing. But real quick, my whole thing is, again, if he was really the GOAT or even in the GOAT debate, he wouldn't have to be begging people to call him that. His work would stand out, right? We never heard Kobe beg anybody, to be called the GOAT. And there's a lot of people who think Kobe is the GOAT. And obviously Michael Jordan, we've never heard, him even say he's the GOAT. He said he's not the GOAT. Obviously I'm sure he would tell you different on the floor, but that is what it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, it's ridiculous that LeBron's work can't stand up for itself, and he got to beg to be called the GOAT all the time. All right. Next quick hit. So this is along the same lines, similar lines in terms of LeBron and the GOAT debate, but Nick Wright, host of what is that? First Things First on Fox Sports 1, and one of LeBron's biggest, if not the biggest cheerleader on mainstream network TV. I guess between him and Shannon Sharp, they probably fight each other in the back, or who knows what they do over who's the biggest LeBron supporter. But Nick Wright basically exposed himself recently in terms of his undying, unwavering support of LeBron in terms of him saying that LeBron is the GOAT in the quote unquote GOAT debate. Here's a clip from that. Check it out. We'll come back and talk about it.
Now you're saying the Lakers are going to win the title.
Because they are. Yeah.
All right. So wouldn't the Warriors winning the title and Steph getting his 5th ring before LeBron be the actual worst thing that's ever happened to you in your career?
Here's what you don't understand about media. You want to know what's actually bad for my career? LeBron putting the GOAT debate to rest. It is in my interest for that to be a hotly contested debate as long as I'm doing media. It's not in my interest for everyone to come around and be like, hey, Nick was right. What's next?
So this is a lose-lose for you.
No,
if LeBron wins,
no, because if LeBron
the GOAT,
but
if
I'm
Curry
telling you right now, people won't call him the GOAT. If LeBron wins
a ring this year,
in year 20, people will say they'll find a way. People have just decided that it's not available to him after the Mavs series in 2011.
Okay, so real quick, people have decided it's not available to him after the Mavs series in 2011. We've never seen a player on LeBron's level melt down like that in the finals. I mean, that's just what it is. So it's not a function of people have decided. Like, that's what LeBron gave the people to decide, right? That's what he gave us. And secondly, he just sat there and told us it's pretty much manufactured, this whole him and LeBron in the GOAT debate. Because remember, Nick Wright wasn't really a big name in national sports media until he went crazy with this LeBron thing. Then his career completely took off. Where are you with that, G?
The whole GOAT debate, I think, became really, really big during the Trump campaign. We start to see a lot of amplification of fake news and propaganda, right? Like propaganda. And so I think this is just what it is, man. Like if you can amplify certain messages, people
Mm-hmm.
gonna believe it's true,
Mm-hmm.
without even like looking at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Wright, I don't follow Nick Wright, man. I never thought I always thought he played defense and never really was like like a straight shooter. Like I
Not
always
on this
believe that
topic.
he can always dance on either side. So maybe he's just a good reporter, but yeah, man, I really give him too much thought, man, and that whole is fabricated and um there's no GOAT debate. But he didn't name who he thought was the GOAT though, right? He never
Oh no,
said that.
he thinks it's LeBron. Oh, he is
Ah,
1000% in the LeBron camp.
oh yeah. See, more amplification of
Hmm.
uh fake news.
It's constant, man, because like I said, he wasn't a big time name in the industry until he really jumped on this thing and really started pushing this LeBron is the GOAT, Jordan this, Jordan that, try and tear down Mike and lift up LeBron. That's when his career just took off like meteorically. So yeah, it's
Yeah, it
it is.
makes sense. It's like,
Mhm,
he hot right now, right?
mhm.
Like he is like it's something I didn't know. I didn't know he was like one of the leaders on for the rest of the players. What do they call that? The like the collection bargaining agreement.
Who's this,
He like
LeBron?
yeah,
In
yeah,
the Players Association?
yes.
Okay, I knew Chris Paul was one of the guys. I didn't know, and Mr. Brown, but I didn't know that LeBron was one of them too.
Yeah, I was watching something, I forget what it was. Yes, what was it Brandon Jennings was talking about, like how there was what topic was this? They was talking about there's no such thing as a um uh guaranteed contract, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
No such thing as a guaranteed contract in the NFL. There's only like a few players and in the NFL and in the NBA is only a few players that's getting guaranteed contract, but that it was a myth. They was trying to say that it was a myth that's not what was really going on. Like I don't know. It's one of those ones you gotta watch. I'll send you the link so you
Hmm.
can check it out. But
Okay.
um, they mentioned that LeBron was one of the leaders of that camp or that organization association. Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely have to check that out. All right,
Yeah.
and the final quick hit before we get into the main topics. So this is kind of along the lines of the whole Anthony Edwards thing. Still with the whole players back then didn't have any skill other than Michael Jordan, and people who are in that camp and believe that nonsense are probably those are generally the same ones who also talk about how there was no athletes back then and nobody back then could play today and all of that. And I was just kind of reading some stuff and I was thinking about it earlier and I'm like, wait a minute. So first, guys back then had no skill. We see that's been roundly debunked, and we see the legends have come out and, like you said, they smacked the young fella in the back of his head, told him go sit down somewhere. And also when they talk about how this era is so much more athletic and so much the players are so much better this that and the third, so that's the only reason Bird was good back then. And I thought about it and I'm like, Larry Bird was super super nasty. Like that dude could go. And for those who are saying like look at this right here, like incredible passer, incredible scorer, rebounder, like he had skills. By the way, he just hit a simple step back. He didn't have to take 14 steps to the left or the right or take, 3 or 4 skips. He just, step back. But yeah, so the reason I bring up Larry Bird is because people say that this era is so much more athletic. But I'm like, wait a minute, if this era is so much more athletic, why do you have two slow, overweight white guys in Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic absolutely running the league and killing everybody? But you're telling me how this era is so much more athletic and Larry Bird couldn't play today. I don't get it, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Larry Bird is cold, man.
Monster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, man, I don't know, man. I get so tired of that whole conversation with players not being able to play in different eras,
Hmm.
and there's no way you can prove that really, though, right?
That's
Like you
true.
can say based off of this, he would do that, but there's no
Hmm.
way you can prove that. Like if you got the endurance to get up and down the court, you can play in
Hmm.
that era, right? Are you going to kill in that era? I guess that's one of the main questions. Like, are you gonna
Mm-hmm.
be able to sustain your numbers over time in that era?
Mm-hmm.
That's an even bigger question. And to me, I don't think it'll be any change considering like, well, no, we got to take in consideration the rules as well. And so,
Mm-hmm.
what rules do we look at as far as if we put Luca in the 90s, like
Mm-hmm.
what rule set do we go through? Do we go through the head checking,
Right.
but then they couldn't play zone,
Mm-hmm.
so you had to play man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he might cook on one end, but he gonna get fried on the other end.
Well, if he played how he plays now, he'd have 10 turnovers a game. Because if you watch this dude dribble, every time he dribbles, he carries like every
Yeah,
single time. So
yeah,
he'd be in big trouble with that. But
yeah,
even more so, I just look at it from the main thought I had was that these people who talk about how much more athletic the league is, they never notice that their thoughts don't work properly together. The stances that they hold don't add up, because you're telling me how much more athletic the league is, but you got these two slow white European dudes absolutely killing everybody.
yeah,
So if Luka could kill today, why couldn't a healthy Larry Bird? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my bigger thing. I'm like, how do y'all not think about that when you say the stuff that you say? It doesn't add up. Like, are you realizing that what you're saying makes no sense? And this is not my opinion. This is based on what you guys, not you, but you guys, the same people who are holding to that narrative, are saying. It's not adding up. That's me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. The whole Luca thing. Luca is nice, right?
Yeah,
It's a lot
yeah,
of players. There's a lot of players, and not just international players, that's not really successful in this league. And they are known. They are stars, like PG. Like PG
mm-hmm.
wouldn't be able to play in that league in its current state right now. Paul
Right.
George would not be able to play in the league back in the day.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
it was just too gritty, man. It was too
I was about
physical.
to, yeah,
Yeah, too physical. You catching elbows, man. They ain't gonna want to
mm-hmm.
play. He wouldn't
Right.
want to play in that league, though. That's another thing. Like they wouldn't want to play in that league. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole thing, man. Like they protected in this league, but they wouldn't want to play in that league.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our quick hits, man. That's our quick hits. Before we go, one more quick hit. I'm gonna just throw it in there. It was supposed to be a big matchup tonight. Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever, last matchup of the year between Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Kennedy Carter, one of the best guards, and one of the guards who really gives Caitlin Clark a lot of trouble on the defensive end. She didn't play tonight. I think she came down with COVID, and that was a tough blow because Indiana ends up smoking Chicago 100-81, and Caitlin Clark was 8 for 14, 5 for 9 from 3, and
She
had
cooked.
31 points and 12 assists tonight. So one of her
Yeah,
better games as a pro. Matter of fact, let me see real quick. I want to see the turnovers.
she cooked though, bro. She's been
She's
cooking.
really
She's
kind
been
of,
cooking since the Olympics came back.
yeah, she's
Since that Olympic break.
look at that. She only had 3 turnovers, so down night for her on the turnover side. But Angel Reese, another double. So what's that? 10 points, 11 rebounds. She did her thing as she does. Like, she does what she can do. And she's going to be in the lab trying to step that offensive game up this off season. So I'm anxious and excited to see what she comes back with in terms of improvement on her offensive game. What up, Nino? How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, it is a career high. Yep, 31-12. I'm definitely anxious to see what Angel Reese comes back with next season in terms of improvement on the offensive side of the ball, because we know she defends. We know she hits the glass like a like a mad woman, a woman possessed, whatever you want to call it. So she's just going to get better. I'm also anxious to see if Caitlin Clark can turn down the turnovers next season. She's been a turnover machine through college and even in the pros, but she gets away with it because she's so flashy on offense, the ability to pass and the ability to hit deep threes and all that. So, let's see. Angel Reese breaks the rookie double record. Now she has 23. And she has the season record for the Chicago Sky as well. So shouts to Angel Reese out there getting it done. She is doing her part. The team is going to just have to continue to build around her, Camila Cardoso, Kennedy Carter, and they're going to be all right. All right. That was the quick hits. So let's go ahead and get to first topic. So that is Brandon Ayuk. Finally got his deal, right? He was holding out from the 49ers, and we've seen a lot of receivers get paid this offseason, right? Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. Now we see Brandon Ayuk get paid, and what did he get? I should have had this written down. Apologies. I know he got $76 million guaranteed, 4 years. I want to say 126 total. Brandon Ayuk. While I'm looking up the exact numbers, what do you think about the 49ers finally paying him? And keep in mind, they also got to deal with Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the game, and they got to think about Brock Purdy next season, who is up to get the big one. What are your thoughts about him, about Brandon Ayuk finally getting a new deal?
I think they're doing a good job of keeping the third or fourth option offensively, right? I think it's almost like if you're a receiver and you produce, the team's going to keep you, right? Because
Okay.
I mean, it's really hard to get good receivers, and yeah, man, yeah, I don't know. I look forward to seeing the San Francisco try to do it again, try to
Mm-hmm.
try to get back to greatness, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have faith that they're gonna be able to get it done. But that's
No.
another threat, though. That's another big piece on the board for them.
Mm-hmm.
Signing him, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, man,
He
all
got
pro.
all pro. He got 4 years extension, $120 million, average salary of $30 million, $23 million signing bonus, and $45 million guaranteed at signing, and 46 million. I'm sorry, 76 million in total guarantees. So good money. He got his extension. The funny thing with this whole situation for me with Brandon Ayuk is I'm looking at it and I'm like, he had opportunities to go different places, make more money. He didn't really want more money. He wanted more money from the 49ers because clearly he wanted to be there, and because he knows that's his best opportunity to possibly win a championship. So that's where he wanted to be. And I'm like, so I guess he just wanted a deal that he thought was good from them. I thought Pittsburgh might have been a really good fit. Pittsburgh has a really good defense, obviously a really good coach. Two guys who can throw it. But, he is very familiar with this 49ers system, and it works for him. He's one of the best big play threats in the league. Last year, almost 18 yards, 17.9 yards per catch, 7 touchdowns. Averaged, I want to say 84, 89 yards per game. Brandon Ayuk was really good, dangerous weapon for Brock Purdy, and there was times when Debo was injured, not in the game, and Brandon Ayuk was the one getting it done for these guys. So clearly they needed him. You also saw Brock Purdy kind of struggle a bit in the preseason without him. So I thought that was interesting and that was telling, but 49ers made that concerted effort to get it done.
This is his fourth season, going into his fourth season.
No, he just played his fourth, so he's going into his fifth.
Fifth season, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the thing is, like, statistically, people aren't going to think that he's one of the best wide receivers in the league because that offense is so run heavy. He's not going to get the number of catches that he wants. What did he have last year? 75 catches, but 1,342 yards, man. 18 yards a catch is crazy, And again, it's not like Brock Purdy was just dinking and dunking and he's, running for 10 yards every time he catches the ball. Like, Brock Purdy was putting it in the air. That coaching staff has a lot of confidence in him, and they're letting it, they're allowing him to let it rip. So, very interesting, man. Brock Purdy. Brandon Ayuk. Yeah.
I don't want to wish bad on the man, but I just think, he might start declining out there, getting all that money.
Ayuk?
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
He played 50 games, right? 50 games, he put up 3,000 yards.
Okay.
Right.
3,900.
3,900.
62 games, 3,931 yards.
Total. 62 games
Yes.
in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's never been hurt.
Not really. He missed Looks like he played his first year. He missed a few games. He played 12 games as a rookie, and then 17, 17, and 16 last year. So he's been pretty
Yeah,
healthy.
I changed that. You pay that man. He, constantly playing. He plays
Mhm.
almost every down,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
game. Yeah, you have to pay him. You have to pay him.
yeah. No, I
I
agree.
think we talked about that. We talked about that in the previous show. We said he was gonna
I'm
get
sure we
paid.
did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just, I'm glad that he got it. I just thought it was interesting because it was clear that he wanted the money there. And I don't know if that was just a function of wanting to feel respected by that organization for what he's done for them, or wanting to get paid in a situation where he felt like he had the best opportunity to try and win a championship. So it's probably a little of both. Because I'm like, you're holding out for more money. You could have been going and got more money in New England. You could have been going and got more money in Pittsburgh. You had opportunities where you could have gone, but clearly you wanted it there. But, shouts to him. He got what he wanted and he got where he wanted it. Because I was one of those guys that, I believe like you don't get to have it all. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of what it is. You don't get to have it all. But I guess he got for him, he got what he feels is having it all, right? He gets to be where he wants to be. He gets to have an opportunity to try and win, and he gets to do it in San Francisco. So, shouts to Brock Purdy. Good for him, I guess.
yeah. He can throw the ball to anybody now.
It's going to be real interesting to see because remember, Trent Williams is still holding out, and you got to deal with that. Best left tackle in the game. You got to keep your young quarterback Brock Purdy upright. So
Yeah, they gonna pay him too.
Trent Williams.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess they have to, right? But then they got to pay Brock Purdy next year. So this is where it gets interesting. But again, man, if these owners want to do it, they can figure out a way to do it. There was somebody, I don't know if you and I talked about it. There's somebody a day or two. Oh, Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Cleveland has like $62 million worth of cap space this year, which is by far the most in the league because what they did was they converted, I think, like $44 million of Deshaun Watson's salary into a bonus. So he gets it right at the beginning of the season. He just gets paid all of it up front. And so that money doesn't go against the cap. So it frees up more money so that they can go out and make a big move. So the point is like these owners can do it if they want to, just most of them don't want to. They don't want to just put that money out there up front. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what San Francisco does.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple in the chat. So we'll open the phone lines up if anybody wants to call in and give us thoughts on Brandon Ayuk getting paid, what you think of the 49ers this year, how you think the 49ers are going to be affected by this going forward, knowing they still got to pay Trent Williams and got to pay Brock Purdy next season. The phone number is 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Go ahead. Give us a call and give us your thoughts on that. Yeah, I thought it was good that they finally got the deal done.
Yeah,
it was good that they finally got the deal done. There's a lot of times that guys don't organizations aren't really that anxious to get the deals done, and we see it, and we'll talk about another huge story in terms of that a couple topics down. But yeah, it is good that they got it done. Like I said, Trent Williams, I think, is the big one. So we'll see.
yeah. Did you see that? It's like a new rule that was passed that allows the owners to sell 10% of their ownership to private equities.
Was it you and I talking about that? I think so. I think we
Yeah.
discussed that offline. I haven't done any reading about it to see exactly how it works, but this is going to be interesting because I think you're definitely going to see more of these franchises doing that, right? Because if they can get a big chunk of cash up front, because let's just say, what's the average NFL valuation? Probably about $4 billion now. So if somebody says, I don't mind, giving up 10%, get a quick 400 mil, maybe that owner has another business venture on the side and they don't want to spend or whatever. So you say, you know what, I'll sell 10% of this to to some private equity fund, and I'll get 400 bill or 300 million, and I'll go do whatever it is I'm going to do with this money. So I definitely can see it. I
just want to make sure they're not being, they're making them sell the 10% shares, right? Is the NFL going to make these owners do that, or is it something that they can say, "Oh yeah, we want to do that"? So it's slow. That's how it starts, man. Before you know it.
Yeah, I would think it's a choice, right? I mean, is the NFL going to make why would I make you sell a part of what you own if you don't want to? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm just reading it. They can hold up to 6, so they can buy stakes in as many as 6 NFL teams. Yeah, I don't know, man. I know it may not seem like it affect things, but we talking about cap space and stuff like that, and it's like, man, these owners getting paid, man. Like, they will make things
over
work.
fist.
Yeah,
Hand over fist. Yeah, they're making tons of money. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll move away from the NFL for a moment, but we'll definitely get back to it. I didn't even realize this is all a football show, but that's okay because it's football time now. We got a little bit of time before the NFL gets back in. Well, the NBA, I mean, and even when the NBA does get back, we know that football is king in this country. So we'll be talking about football real heavy for the next few months. All right. But where were we? Colorado. Let's talk about college football and Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffalo. So it's interesting because Deion has been the topic of look at this guy. He's been I guess the main topic of the college football world for I guess the last maybe year and a half now, right? Since he took the Colorado head coaching job. Of course, besides the topic of the 12-team playoff expansion and the realignment, but in terms of individual teams and individual people, Deion Sanders has been the biggest name in the sport for a myriad of reasons, right? And this offseason, there's been more, how do I say this? It's been a little more sobering, the reality of the Colorado program in terms of you're hearing a little more negativity and there's a little more noise coming out of there, and it's not necessarily from winning. Now, that said, 2 years ago, Colorado won 1 game. Last year, they won 4 games, and you definitely saw the program take a step forward. But clearly, it wasn't the step forward that Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, would have wanted it to be. Clearly, it wasn't the step forward that all of his players would have wanted it to be. But it's interesting, you got a lot of things going on, and as guys leave, you're hearing different negative stories and such coming out of Colorado program. And then you're seeing Deion getting into verbal sparring matches with different members of the media. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, or last week, I guess it was. And so, you got different stuff going on, but all that kind of, got put to the side a little bit last night as Colorado opened up their season against perennial, was that FCS powerhouse. I guess FCS used to be Division I AA, but North Dakota State. And that was a really, really good game to anybody who watched it. And what really impressed me was that Colorado State, they did not come in afraid, and they lined up against them. Colorado ends up winning this game 31 to have had the opportunities that he's had growing up in terms of, number one, obviously we know he comes from an elite athletic pedigree. And then, who his father has allowed him to get tutelage from some of the best, including having worked with Tom Brady. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that at the quarterback position, right? But yeah, when you watch this guy, man, Shedeur Sanders is just special. And that offense and those skill position players can be a laser light show once they get it up and rolling, right? We saw Shedeur threw 26 for 34 last night, 445 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had that one crazy interception, but what was that? 445 passing yards in the opener. And so we know that he's very capable of putting up video game type numbers, Shedeur Sanders. So, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Then we saw Jimmy Horn Jr., 7 catches, 198 yards. The dude is lightning fast. As soon as he catches it, he's out. We saw Travis Hunter, 7 catches, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, that offense, once it gets up and running, it gets going, man, them guys can really, really make it exciting. But that said, one of the biggest issues last year, Shedeur was the most sacked quarterback in Division II. I think he was sacked 52 times. Excuse me. He was sacked 52 times last season. That led the country. And so Deion and the Colorado program made a concerted effort to improve that offensive line. But we still saw North Dakota State getting a fair amount of pressure on Shedeur last night. So let me ask you this. I'm going off, kind of really breaking this stuff down. Gee, man, what did you see that you liked? What did you feel like Colorado has to work on? Like, what were, I guess, your initial impressions of that game?
So first of all, just to clear some of the things up that you said, like Dion walking into a team that only won one game last year, right? And as everyone knows, like when you plan on a team and you're a new coach, you inherit a lot of the piss poor or lack of talent that was left, especially walking into a team that only won one game, right? And so for him to utilize the transfer portal just to get some type of stability in his team, right? I think he had something like 50 plus players on a transfer portal that
Mm-hmm.
he inherited, or that came that his first year playing, or his first year coaching, and then that kind of it shocked the media, it shocked the whole college football because you're supposed to go through your growing pains. Like sometimes it take you years and years and years to build your program, but here Dion was like, hey man, I don't got all day. I don't have 3 years to build a program. I need to, at least try to lay the foundation as much as possible. And we're always gonna have it. Unless he was inheriting like a really good team like
Mm-hmm.
Alabama or something, like you had to know that he was gonna have problems on, he was gonna have holes in the offensive line, he was gonna have problems on defense. You had to know this because that a lot of the players that he had the year before was bumps. You're gonna have people that's not gonna be happy also, right? And so game one, they line up, all the media is like shooting at him and it's talking down on the man, but they're not really seeing like this. If anybody would have stepped in there, it probably would have been a lot worse. They wouldn't have won no games, you know. But bringing in his son Shador, he raised him up. Kid is the real deal, man. I think he's the real deal. I mean, he is definitely a tier 1 quarterback in the NCAA, and
Yeah.
top 5 pick in my eyes right
Mm-hmm.
now. And they still kicking the tires, getting the dust off. He brought in some really good coaches, some passionate coaches, and so he's still building that program.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the older programs where the coach been in there for 5 years and they got everything going. They know what they need and what they don't. He's still kind of assessing players at the same time. He's
Mm-hmm.
out here trying to win games on Saturdays and Thursdays. One of the biggest tickets out there though right now. One of the biggest ticket sales out there with Colorado, and he's and job well done, Dion. Honestly, I know he get a lot of flack for how he carried things, but I think if he was building the franchise, the first thing the coach would do, no matter who the coach is, they want their own players. They want to coach their own players. They want to bring in their own players. A lot of times, what coaches don't do is they don't release everybody, right? They don't like get rid of the players from previous years. They'll tell them, hey, look, you might want to go, but if they like a junior, senior, they normally let them play out. So I think he's gonna get some flack from uh, people who may not understand. Like I don't have 4 years to get ready. I don't have 4 years to win. I got to win right now because not only is media talking about how I'm running my camp, they calling it a circus, right? They directly threaten him, not really looking at like some of the things that he's trying to accomplish there, or not looking at it on the positive side. And so that's how I feel, man. I thought it was a very entertaining game. I think they need a running back. They need a pass rush. They're gonna need a offensive line. Still think he need more time back there, but they look better than they did last year. I think just the first year thriller win in the clutch that could have been a loss, right? But they got Travis Hunter, man. That dude is the real deal, man. That kid is another top 10 picks, I believe.
Yeah, you said a lot.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter is a top 10 pick. I think Shadur Sanders may well end up being the number 1 overall pick. He's easily, in my estimation, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country this year. I think he's that good. And I said it from last year. The kid is special, man. You watch him playing, you're like, holy cow. And they've done a great job with giving him some real high-level skill weapons to work with. So I like that. He's got an NFL offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur. Obviously, the defensive line has a Hall of Famer coaching that, Warren Sapp. And they're going to need some work because even North Dakota State, they had problems, getting pressure on that team. And so, and that's one of the better teams in FCS, one of the elite teams. I think they have 9 national championships in FCS, but there's just a difference in the level of athlete. I'm sure they're not going to want to hear that, but there is. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this works as the season progresses with Colorado, and they have to end up, playing against better teams. And let me see what the schedule is here. Like where they play. Like I know next week they play Nebraska at Nebraska, and I know Matt Rule is another guy who has really worked hard to rebuild his program out there. And that's a guy who, he flamed out terribly in the NFL. But if you look at what he's been able to do in his career as a college head coach, he's done a really good job rebuilding programs from Temple to Baylor. And then he obviously had a terrible time in the NFL. Now he's back in college. But next week they play Nebraska in the night game on NBC, followed by Colorado State, in-state rival, always going to be tough. Baylor, UCF, that UCF game on the 28th, I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that one, followed by a ranked Kansas State team, a ranked Arizona team, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, a ranked Utah team, which is going to be the favorite in the Big 12, ranked Kansas, and a ranked Oklahoma State. And here's another problem. I'm looking at this. What did they give up? About almost 160 yards on the ground last night to North Dakota State. Really good team again, but they're not even FBS or formerly Division I, right? And so they have a problem, Colorado, that is stopping the run. They have a problem running the ball, and that's part of the reason Shadur Sanders gets sacked a lot, right? He puts up crazy numbers, but they're not able to run the ball effectively. And so, he's back there throwing it a ton. And also they have, as you can see, a lot of deep passing concepts. So that takes a little more time for it to develop. So if you don't have an elite offensive line, the opposition's going to get through. So that UCF game is going to be tough in terms of trying to stop the run. That Utah game going to be tough in terms of trying to stop the run. The finale versus Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon the third, one of the best running backs in the country, that's going to be terrible trying to stop the run. So I think looking at this, I think Colorado has an opportunity to win one. If they beat Nebraska next week, that's going to be huge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, maybe they can get to 6, 7 wins, but that's tough. That's tough. Just looking at that schedule. But yeah, to something you said earlier, right? I know you feel like the media piles on Deion Sanders. I know you don't like the term circus, but realistically, there has been a circus type element to the Colorado program since he's arrived. Deion he's loud, he's brash, he's braggadocious, and that's cool. I think that's cool when you're a player, and because when you're a player, you have the opportunity to go out and back up whatever it is you say, right? And I think that's the difference now. He's going to be him. There's nothing you can do about it. He's not going to change it now, right? But I think when you're a coach, it's a little different in terms of being loud and braggadocious and brash because you can't actually go out between the lines and affect winning and losing, right? Like as a player, Deion could talk about whatever, but he can go out there and literally shut down that opposing wide receiver, right? And that's his part of bringing winning to the game and winning to his team. Now, he can coach it up all he wants. He can motivate all he wants. But if these players don't go out there and get it done between the lines, that's a different thing, right? And so I think that's where it becomes problematic in terms of the media, especially this one guy, what's his name, Sean Keeley, quote unquote, going at Deion and saying stuff. But when you are how you are, for instance, after the TCU win last year in the opener, when he's telling Ed Werder, who is a longtime and very respected NFL journalist, whom he knows because Deion's been around the NFL for a long time, and he's yelling at him, "Do you believe? Do you believe?" And, you know, all this stuff. And that's cool. He was caught up in the moment. He was excited. He does believe in his program. He believes in himself as a winner and as a leader, everything he's done in his life. But when you do that and then the wins don't follow to the level that you wanted it, well, certain, people are going to push back on you. So I really don't get why there's a lot of people who seem to be offended by that. That's me. And maybe that's the journalist side, but I'm just like, I don't really think anyone's being disingenuous with Deion or the Colorado program here. I don't really think anyone's like coming down too hard on them, because at the end of the day, what cures all of that and can shut everybody up is winning. So, and Deion knows this. He knows that the type of personality that he has and the type of player he was and all of that, that's going to bring the attention. But my thing has always been, you can't only want the good type of attention, right? Because when things don't go your way and you have a certain personality, that other type of attention is going to come as well. So that's my thought on it.
I think the point that people miss is he's still molding young men into men, and if the type of player he is, I think that the way that he believed that he can reach them is by instilling confidence in them on the field. He know his team ain't gonna stack up against a lot of these teams they shooting up against. He know that. He know he don't have the personnel to do that. But he's not. He also know that as long as you got heart, you can do anything. And so I believe a lot of him. And people look at it as him bragging, but what I see a man like instilling confidence and telling people, "Hey, look, we ain't gonna lay down for anybody." All coaches do it.
I like
he take
that.
his locker room. He take his locker room to the podium. He take his locker room to the podium sometimes, and he speak about things that that's locker room talk, so to speak. And so, because that's what the kids watch. That's what he was saying. We not where we want to be. We as a player, I played this game. I was a Hall of Fame player. I know what we need, and we're not there yet. And so this wasn't a good game. But I'm proud of my boys. I'm proud of my guys.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I just look at that part. The media is going to be the media. I think this guy had bad press since he started in the league before draft. Even his draft day, like this guy was like him and the media is always going at it. And so it's nothing new. I mean, I think it's just banter, right? Like I thought they made up. I thought they dapped and made up. I thought him and CBS made up. Yeah, I think they hashed it out. Yeah, so it's going to be that. I mean, if nothing else, it's really good sound bites. Right? It brought a lot of attention to the program. Yeah.
Listen, I wish the dude success. I do. But one thing I can say, it's going to be really, what happens next year when Shedeur is gone? Is he going to get that next quarterback? Is he going to, and the thing is, the transfer portal is a weapon in modern college sports. Got it. But can you do it every year with such great turnover? At what point are we developing the players that you bring in? And at what point are you recruiting at a high level out of high school and developing those guys? You know what I'm saying? Like everything can't be, okay, this year we're going to throw 40 more guys out the door and bring 40 more guys in. How do you develop continuity? How do you develop that brotherhood, that teamwork? Like,
man,
yes.
He might not have to worry about Dallas might need a head coach.
So yeah, and I'm not mad at that. I think that would be an incredible fit, G. I do. But the thing is, I think there's a couple of reasons why that's not going to work. One, he already said that he's not interested in coaching the pros. Now, I think the right amount of money can change anything, but he's not interested in coaching the pros because he's going to be real irritated if he sees guys making a lot of money that don't want to do the work, right? Because we see Coach Prime as being flashy and all that, but anyone who played with him or anyone who coached him, they'll tell you how meticulous he was about the work, which is, and we know all the all-time greats are like that, right? Kobe, Mike, Magic, whoever it may be, right? Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, all the all-time true great ones, they're obsessed with the process and the work. And so Deion is like, he'd be real upset, dealing with millionaires who don't want to put the work in, right? So there's that. And then secondly, we know that Deion is such a megawatt personality do we really think that he could deal with having Jerry Jones, who is another megawatt personality? Or I guess more precisely, could Jerry Jones deal with having Dion or Coach Prime, right? Because we know Jerry Jones, and we'll talk about him in a minute, wants all that attention for himself. So could he deal with a guy who is going to suck all the air out of the room and take that attention away from him as his head coach? I don't think he could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was just a joke. But back to your question. I think when you went,
it's a legit one, man.
it was definitely legit. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
because
legit.
he already started growing the white beard out now, and so
Yeah,
he might be ready to put that star on, man. I don't care one way or another. Is really what I meant to say. I don't care one way or another. But it's- I'm a Ravens fan all day, and so when I see that, it's just another L. But just as far as like, you can tell he's recruiting this year. You'll if you really listen to what he's saying, like it's like a call for good players, right? If I'm a quarterback, I see Shador putting up 400 yards. I know that this offense is geared towards,
That's
throwing
true.
the ball, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I want to go at. If Shador go top 5, he won't have to worry about it because he will have another quarterback that's probably
I hope so.
just like Shador there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. With the NIL deals, those are already be in place. And so the only thing you had to do is just walk right into it.
Right.
So, yeah, I really don't know how that worked. But as far as branding, I think that school was designed for you to go big with Dion, right, from an NIL perspective. It's designed, man. Like, you have rappers at your there's
Yeah.
rappers at pre-games. Like, it's real popular there, man. And so as that's why I say, the circus, they call it the circus, but what it really is he's appeasing to like the new way of football, and branding is everything. So,
Did you hear, speaking of NIL, I guess it was a former member of the Colorado program, I don't know if it was a member of the coaching staff or what, saying that they had went to Saudi Arabia trying to search out some NIL money over there?
man,
It's
I
a
don't
good
know.
place to find it if you can get it, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that report. I was like, okay, that's kind of okay. That's wild. All right.
Different. That's different. Yeah, I think I did though. Did you send me that? I think you put that in the chat. So,
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I probably did. Yeah. I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, they are they're going about it through different channels. Okay, not mad at that.
I think they're extremely popular, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody that liked Dion and followed Dion went over to Colorado because a lot of people I know that they follow college football, but that they pretty much whatever school they went to, that's who they follow. But they definitely watching Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're entertaining. They're exciting on and off the field, right? But we're gonna see how it goes. I know that schedule looks tough, and well, we just hope they can hold up, man, because they're gonna have a tough one next week at Nebraska. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they obviously got to protect Shador Sanders, and they got to figure out a way to run the football. I don't know if they can run it through scheme, or if just the talent at the position's not there, or the offensive line is not ready yet. And hopefully as the season goes on, offensive line will continue to gel, because that's one of those things that, it takes time and a lot of reps together. But we'll see, man. We will see.
They can't put all that weight on Travis Hunter, man. They can't do that, man.
Travis Hunter appears to want to carry that weight, though. You know what I'm saying?
Sure he does, man. But I mean, throughout the season, though, like, I get it.
He may wear down.
Yeah, they you got to find somebody else, man. I don't know.
I think it's a part of it is that, when you're, think about this, right? When you were 21, you didn't have to stretch, right? You go out, you hoop all day, just come home, take a shower, get something to eat, go to sleep, do it again, right? So when you're young, the energy is just unbelievable, right? The things you can do, the recovery, the condition your body's in. Obviously, nobody's saying that we were out there, playing 100 snaps in a Division I college football game, but you get the premise. So right now, he's in position and condition to do that. What I'm interested in seeing, hopefully he makes it through the season without getting nicked up. But what I'm interested in seeing is what position they are going to look at him for in the NFL, whether it's corner or whether it's going to be wide receiver, because whichever one I think he devotes himself to on the next level, he's going to be an animal. And I think, like, personally, I think I would want him at corner because now you get the speed, you get the athleticism, you get the ball skills, and he knows what wide receivers want to do. And then plus he got wide receiver hands. So if anybody throws at him, he can take that from him. He's not just knocking it down. He's going to catch it and maybe turn the other way and take that, like real quick. One of the things I always loved about Ed Reed, and to me, what makes him the greatest safety of all time, it's not just obviously he can hit you with physicality and brutality, but I love the fact that he was dangerous in terms of like more dangerous than a Palomalu in terms of turning the interceptions into points, right? He had the incredible hands, and then he could turn around and take that back the other way. And so I think that Travis Hunter would be that type of player as a cornerback, much like Dion was, right? If you actually throw at him and he can get his hands on it, it might be going the other way. So if it's me on the NFL level, I think I want Travis Hunter as a cornerback rather than a wide receiver, because I think you get double the value if you put him on that side of the ball.
As a coach, yeah, but you know what's gonna happen, right? We seen them checks that they handing out, 120 plus mil to play wide receiver. Man, I'm playing wide receiver, bro. Like I'm playing wide receiver.
Okay.
You see Shorty hands, he got the stuff, man. With the toe tap in the back of the end zone, the freakiest catch he caught.
So you think he's better at wide receiver than corner?
I think Shorty is just an animal, man. Like, I think he's he's an animal, and it'll be hard to put. He can play both sides. He's been playing both sides of the field, so you know, at a high level. And so I think if I'm him, I'm going wherever the check is, and look like wide receiver is going to pay the most. However, I'm not opposed to him playing corner, right? Like, because he's a lockdown corner as well. And you just don't see those checks, man. You just don't see those checks. And there's more of an opportunity to build your brand. Well, I mean, you can be a lockdown, like they pulling flags right now on defense. So yeah, I would definitely want to be on offense. He got the speed, got the hands, look like he got the awareness, the agility. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It makes more sense for him to be a receiver. For me, if I'm a coach, I want this dude, or a GM, I want you playing corner. That's what I'm gonna have you as if I draft you, corner.
He cooked yesterday, though, bro.
I know, but I think I get double the value out of you if I have you at corner.
All right, let's look at it this way. If he just played corner, they would have lost. They would have lost. They would have lost. Yeah, if he just played corner, they would have lost, man. And so, you know, he's starting to show us this year, or this first game, you know, that he can put points on the board as well. Saw him in the backfield as well. You know, so he's him.
But I mean, obviously, we know that in the league, he's not going to be going both ways. So, you know, he's not going to be playing both sides of the ball in the NFL. So, like I said, for me, from the organizational standpoint, I want him at cornerback. But I get what you're saying. What would be better for him is playing wide receiver. I totally get it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, my bad. You got anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, the chat. Yeah, no doubt. Chat's real quiet tonight, so we'll just go on and move on to the next topic, which I guess is the story that never ends, right? What is it? The song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. So, speaking of wide receivers getting big checks, we just saw, was that earlier this week? CeeDee Lamb was holding out, and he got his check from the Cowboys, and if I'm not mistaken, was second highest paid non-quarterback in history, right? And I think he got the biggest signing bonus in history for a non-quarterback too, like $38 million, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was compensated very, very nicely. So here's the first thing I want to know, right? Why is it, and maybe you can explain this to me, that when it comes to Jerry Jones, that he goes through all this rigmarole with these players, they hold out, this, that, and the third, and then he doesn't even give them contracts that are mutually beneficial to the player and the organization. He just ends up caving and giving them everything they want. Like, you want to explain to me how that works? I don't get it.
Only thing I can see is that when they under negotiations, we saw that with who was it? Lamar Jackson, right?
Okay.
Where the league didn't really say a whole lot, but
Mm-hmm.
there's what we came to find out when we came to see is that like it doesn't matter if that owner wants you, he'll talk to other owners and you'll stay there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if there's nobody else like bidding for you to come and play with their team, then
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, if you're a free agent, you're gonna stay there because he's gonna pay.
Right.
They're gonna pay.
Right.
I think they all do at some point. It's just, they put certain things probably in the contract to restructure if they need to, things like that. Some type of clause where there's a performance clause in there, but it's starting to see a lot of more guaranteed money getting thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's CD Lamb, man. I think the kid deserve it. When I look
He
at
did.
the Dax,
He's really good.
yeah, I think I answered your question. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I answered your question. It's all press, man. It's just all like for the fans. That portion of it is for the fans, man.
I think it's
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
because if the whole thing is you don't want to pay a player a certain amount of money and you go to the point of they got to hold out and all that, you should, but then you end up just giving them everything they want, which is what we saw with Dak last time and what we may end up seeing with Dak again. I think it's just dumb. It's not good business, right? It's
He
not
got
even
1 year left.
mutually beneficial. Dak?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got one more left, I believe.
Okay, so
So
so he might just make him bet on himself. Shador
that's
coming out, he might just be like, you know what,
I've been saying that.
you
I've
know
been
what,
saying that.
that Shador kid look just
Yeah.
like you. He a
Nah,
little,
Shador looked better than him.
yeah, you know what I mean. He's a lot younger.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a wear and tear on him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Yeah.
have the crazy warm ups. Um, he been
Yeah.
he you know he's been under the wing by the greatest that ever played the game,
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No doubt.
it's gonna, and you get to dump a lot of money if you get rid of Dak or you let Dak walk.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You started over with a guy on a rookie contract. I think it would be smart, but we'll see. What is it? So CD Lamb's deal, he got the 4-year, $136 million extension. With a $38 million signing bonus. That was huge. 67 mil guaranteed at signing and total guarantees of $100 million. So he was compensated very nicely. To me, this is going to be really interesting because Michael Parsons coming up next year, you got to pay him. But I don't know if I even worry about paying Michael Parsons. This is going to sound crazy, but why not just trade him for a haul? You can get a lot for him. And if you got to pay Dak Prescott, then that makes it harder to pay Michael Parsons, right? So trade Michael Parsons, get a haul, because here's the thing about Michael Parsons. He's another one who doesn't show up in big games or against tough opponents. Like, he gets a lot of sacks, but he gets most of them against bad teams.
Yeah.
Like, where is he in the big games against big opponents? You don't see it. He doesn't show up. He shrinks. So, you could look at it that way. Now, it's easier in the playoffs to take an elite pass rusher out of the game, right? You just, you can slide protection and you can move things away from him. And, there's different things you can do to kind of negate an elite pass rusher's effectiveness in those situations. But at the end of the day, if you're truly that game wrecker, you're going to find a way to make a play. Now, everyone can't be Aaron Donald, but that's an example, right? Aaron Donald literally saved the Super Bowl with a sack when he hit Joe Burrow at the end of the Super Bowl a couple years ago. But anyway, yeah, so back to this topic, Dak Prescott, right? So we know that Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones have kind of been back and forth over Dak getting or not getting a new deal, right? Obviously, he wants to remain in Dallas as the Cowboys quarterback. And I think Jerry Jones personally doesn't believe in Dak as being that guy who can take him where he wants to go. The problem is, as we saw in the preseason, Trey Lance, what do you have, 5 picks last game in the preseason? Like, they don't have a guy that they believe in who can be that guy if they get rid of Dak Prescott. So here were Jerry Jones's recent comments regarding Dak. So after the CD Lamb deal got done, he was asked about, okay, well, is Dak up next? Do you feel any sense of urgency to get that deal done? Blah, blah, blah. And Jerry Jones says, as you can see on the screen here, we don't need to get this done before the season.
Tell him how you feel.
I know, right?
Listen.
We just don't need to get it done before the season because it's in all of our interests, Dak and everybody, to have a great season. And as a matter of fact, that's probably not realistic to think before the season. But my thought sitting right here is we'll have Dak as Cowboys quarterback in 2025 and beyond. But all I'm going to say is this: it's not done yet. So, you know what that says to me? he's taking Dak for granted. Like he's like, well, we know Dak wants to be here. We'll just make it work. But Dak is starting, I think, to get to that point where he's like, man, look, if I got to move on and do this somewhere else and get my money, I'll do that. But so two things here. One, and I've been saying this, if you're a team and you're looking at Dak in free agency next year, like, why would you give this dude $60 million? $60 million for what? Elite regular season play and knowing that he can't get the job done when it comes down to it in the playoffs? Like, why would you do that? But everybody's talking about, well, Dak is going to get the bag on the open market. But why?
Because it's a business, bro. It's a business.
Okay.
Hear me out. When you watch football on Sundays, do you care if your team win or lose?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You care if they win. That wins in the regular season. Right. You only need one loss and then your season over. Money is already made. Right. But when I read that, what I say is, and Jerry's telling us really how he feels.
He is.
I'm giving you all the tools you need to be successful this year.
That's true.
And if you don't be successful, then you won't be here. 2025.
That's right.
Right? Like, it's so maybe that's what he's using. That's why he always came, because he's like, oh, well, CD Lamb, that's like one of the best receivers. First, second, and third, right? Like, yards, touchdowns. I think he came in like second. Was he? Yeah, second. He had like second and then third in catches or something like that. One of them three. I don't remember. I looked at it earlier, but hey, man, he has everything you need to be successful. A legit tight end. I mean, offensively, bringing in Dalvin Cook. They said Zeke is going to start, but I think that's Dalvin Cook's role to lose.
Yeah, I think he's probably, if he can stay healthy, he'll have that.
Yeah. Offensive line, like, there's no reason why Dak shouldn't reset the market after this season, but he's gonna have to earn it. Yeah, he's gonna have to earn it, bro. He's gonna have to earn it, and it ain't gonna happen. You know it ain't gonna happen. But this that year, like every year, this that year.
I know, right? But so here's the thing. So remember at the beginning of the offseason, Jerry Jones talking about, oh, we're all in, right? But he didn't really make any moves. So people are wondering, well, why is he all in? And then I'm hearing people in the sports media talking about they're not supporting Dak enough. They're not serious. They're not putting enough around him to win. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, he got a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer on his offensive line, Zach Martin, right? He's got a second team All-Pro wide receiver. He's got that. He's got on the defensive side, obviously he's got a first team All-Pro edge rusher, right? Michael Parsons, or maybe second team. But he's got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like, the Cowboys led the league. They led the NFL in All-Pro selections last year. They also led the NFL in Pro Bowlers. So what more can you give Dak to prove to you or to get it done, right? What more can you give him? He's got everything around him. So we need to stop, not you, but we, in terms of people being disingenuous, talking about they're not supporting him enough to make him win. No, he can't win. He's not that dude. Now, if he should do it, I'm going to have to come on here and eat crow, but he's not that guy. Now, that said, Dak Prescott would he come second in the MVP voting behind Lamar?
Are you next?
My bad, wrong thing. Yeah, he was second in the MVP voting behind Lamar Jackson, second team All-Pro, which realistically, if Brock Purdy plays the whole year, then Brock Purdy's going to be second team All-Pro, but whatever. So, I mean, I'm just looking, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Dak is a bum, as we're seeing here on the screen. He's just not that guy in terms of getting you where you need to go. So this whole business of resetting the market, you only reset the market for truly special players, and no one is going to tell you that Dak Prescott is a truly special player. Is Dak Prescott very good? Yes. Is Dak Prescott a bum? Absolutely not. But reset the market, truly special player? No. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is so stupid, right? And speaking of that, in terms of the way contracts are done, I don't think there's anything written in the language of the league saying that whoever's up next has to reset the market, right? So I really don't understand this, like, because you hear people saying the market is what the market is, or the market dictates. If these owners simply wouldn't do it, then we wouldn't have this problem, right? Just because you're up next doesn't mean you get to reset the market. If you're that level of player, fine. But just because you're up next doesn't mean I don't understand why these owners keep capitulating to this. If they wouldn't do it, that wouldn't be an issue. Make it merit-based, right? Like, I'm not huge on the way the NBA does a lot of things. But one thing I love about the NBA, there are certain metrics that you need to hit in order to get a supermax contract. That just is what it is. And so if you would, I think the NFL could stand to learn something from that and say, okay, if you meet these certain metrics, then you can get this level of money. If not, then so be it, right? Whether it's winning, whether it's stats, whether it's all pro selection, blah, blah, blah. You meet these metrics, then you get to move to this next level of earning capability. Like, what is wrong with that?
Every franchise isn't the same. Some of these stadiums, man, they pack in like 100,000, 50,000 folks, and so that's a lot of money going to the ownership. And as a quarterback, if you winning on Sunday, like, you should be entitled to that money. I think it's the difference between you playing for a team, like, it's like the difference between you playing for the Lakers versus playing for Charlotte, right? Like, you're gonna get more money for playing with the Lakers if you are like that, that guy. And so as we all know, like, that quarterback is that's the highest paid position in the NFL. And so if I'm taking snaps from Dallas, then of course, then I want that money. The fact that Jerry didn't sign it yet, not saying he won't, right? He'll say all these things and then tomorrow he'll sign it, just to mess with the media. He could just be messing with the media at the same time, but it would be nice to see him, like, bet on his players, right? Like you say,
but
all
he
right,
does.
well,
So. Remember, he gave Zeke that huge deal, right? He gave Zeke that huge deal. So, and he gave Dak a huge deal before. Now, granted, he made him wait for it. I think they franchised him twice, but he ended up making him the highest paid player ever, which should never happen for Dak Prescott. So let's do this.
East.
My bad, guy.
That's the NFC East, though. It hasn't been so much the Washington Redskins, but they paying because for whatever reason that NFC East is extremely popular.
Yeah, whatever. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pop this Jerry Jones comment back up there, and then I'm gonna follow it up with Dak's comments at a recent press conference when he was asked about it. So Jerry Jones again says, quote, "We don't need to get this done before the season. We just don't need to get it done before the season because it's in all of our interest, Dak and everyone, to have a great season. As a matter of fact, that's probably not realistic to think before the season. But my thought sitting right here is we'll have Dak as Cowboys quarterback in 2025 and beyond. But all I'm going to say is this, it's not done yet," unquote. Now, again, being a Ravens fan, I think we have a different outlook on this because I'm looking at this very simply. Dak, don't get mad. Go out there and get it done. Just like Joe Flacco did, right? Joe Flacco should never, ever have been the highest paid quarterback in history, but he went out there and forced their hand by getting the job done. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for. Play with some goddamn sense of urgency. You want this check?
What's up, Bruiser?
This money?
You're absolutely right, Bruiser. I did a show a while back where I actually broke it down, and by the numbers, Dak and Kirk Cousins are almost the exact same player, like almost the exact same player. It's crazy. So, like, I just, again, having that star on your helmet really changes the way you're perceived. So I think, that is what that is. Bruiser, I can't remember if I've seen you here before or not. I think I have, but if not, make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel, man. I appreciate you. All right. So we saw Jerry Jones's comments. Now let's hear what Dak had to say in response when he was asked about it.
A natural question is, CD got paid. Are you next?
Not really sure. Not my focus anymore, to be honest with you. Told you guys that really can't say ever was really my focus. It's about making myself and this team better, getting us in the best position and the most confident to go up to Cleveland and start the season off with a win.
Have you instructed with Todd, or do you want to shut him down when the season starts?
No, I mean that's up to Todd and those guys. Once again, I'm not going to be a part of them here as the season starts. And they've been going obviously heavily through Todd and Steven both. So yeah, it's just all part of it. As I said, my job and my focus now is control what I can. And as I said, back in camp, it's two parts to this. Both sides have to come to the agreement.
You don't need a deal done before the season.
I don't need no.
Would you like it done before the season?
I think it says a lot if it is or if it isn't. But however, doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you.
What does it say if it isn't?
Just how people feel.
So relatively strong comments there. It says a lot if it isn't done before the season. I think Dak is I believe he's starting to feel disrespected, and he's probably looking at it and saying, what more do you need me to do for me to get paid? But I think the answer to that is very simple. You need to get me at least to a conference championship game. Like, there's people out there still saying Dak is better than Jared Goff. I have no idea how you say that. I don't know how you say that. Jared Goff been to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff obviously has won an NFC title. Jared Goff went to another NFC championship game last year. I don't know how you say that. What up, Bruce? I got you. Yeah, no, definitely. It was a mature response by Dak Prescott. I'm not mad at that. Definitely a mature response. I think he appears to be pretty irritated by the nonsense, relatively fed up. Look, the simple way to do this, and this is what I just mentioned in regards to the Ravens. Simple way to do this, and obviously it's not actually simple, but go out there and play well when it matters most. How about you do that? Get your team at the very least to a conference championship game, and then I'll have no issue with Jerry Jones giving this guy market resetting money. I mean, I still don't think he deserved that, but at least at that point, he'll have something to say, okay, I've kind of earned that. He can say, I've been all pro. He can say, I've been multiple time Pro Bowler. I led the league in touchdown passes, blah, 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 whatever. But he needs to do more on the bigger stages. And we got to stop this false narrative that they didn't put enough around him, because that's just not true. He's had more Pro Bowlers and all pros than anybody last year. And I think he had like 2 years ago, that was the same thing with the Cowboys. So he's got that. He's got a Super Bowl winning head coach. Like, at what point are we realistically going to put the onus on Dak Prescott to play better when it counts most? G?
Yeah. I think that NFC East is one of the most popular divisions in football, right? You got New York, Philly, Washington, Dallas.
Right. Yeah.
So that urgency to win is always going to be there. It's a popularity contest, right? And so my thoughts on his response is, they pretty much already know he's not gonna get paid. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, not right now. He's gonna have to do something to get that money. And yeah.
Like you said, it's a business, right? You just finished telling me that it's a business.
It's a business, yeah. And
so you think they're just gonna hand you a stack of money for,
just showing up, snapping the ball? Like,
right.
Nah, they want Super Bowls. They got this new stadium with no new banners, and so
facts.
So I know that's his number one agenda. Hanging new rappers in this building.
Absolutely. All right. I guess we can leave it there. We only got a few in the chat, but I'll go ahead and open up the call lines. If anybody else wants to call and give their thoughts on it, 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. I'll put it in the chat. 219-8264. Yeah, if anybody wants to call in and say your piece regarding Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones, how you feel about the way Jerry Jones is handling this. What do you think about Dak Prescott? Do you think he should get market resetting money, etc.? I absolutely do not, but not my money, and I'm also not the one going out there every week putting my body on the line. So there's that.
Listen, Cowboys, I could care less, but nonetheless.
I hear you on that, brother. I hear you on that. Yeah. So yeah. But you know what? Quick side note while we're just waiting to see if anybody calls in. And I guess this is not Dak's fault, right? Because they drafted him. But if you're Dak, you play for the Cowboys, and I want to assume you seem like a relatively smart guy. You got to understand the extra money that you're getting by virtue of having the star on the side of your helmet. If you were Dak Prescott in Minnesota, you wouldn't get a lot of what you get off the field, right? We would not talk about you the same way. If you're Dak Prescott in Arizona or whatever the team is, right? Would it be the same as being the Cowboys quarterback? I don't think so. Now, is that Dak's problem, right? They drafted him. Is that his problem? No, not really. But if I'm the Cowboys, I might make that part of my negotiating strategy of, reminding him of that. Like, listen, there's things that come with being the Cowboys quarterback. You need to remember that, So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead, G. We'll take it to the last topic in our football centric show tonight, and that is Josh Allen. I thought this was really interesting. I'm sorry. So before we dig into it, what do you think of Josh Allen? Where do you kind of look at him in the pantheon of current NFL quarterbacks? What do you think about Josh Allen?
I mean, when I think about Josh Allen, I think he can make all the throws, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we saw that defenses can shut him down in a dime, right? He struggles out of the dime package, and so um, just man, like he struggled getting the ball to the receivers, and man, and maybe that's the receivers that couldn't get open. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had Stephon Diggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we gonna see this year, like
Yeah.
we gonna see if he is, what they say he is. I never had him as a top 5 in the league. I'm not sure how he got there. I know I seen he had some highlights, but I don't think he won enough, to be top 5. No MVPs. That was like a few Pro Bowls, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But his name stayed in the top 5. So I
Do
mean, I think Buffalo is his to win, right? Ben's though, like Jim Kelly, the hiccup Jim Kelly had, like it's his to win. But
Mhm.
has he had like a really, really solid running game?
Nah, not really.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Bro. He like
So
top 15, but not top 5 in my book.
that's disrespectful.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's top 5 or 6. Just I get what you're saying about not having the MVPs or whatever, but
I'm trying to say over who?
his skill set is crazy. Obviously not over Mahomes. Burrow has done more, but Burrow doesn't stay healthy, and you could argue leg for leg, throw for throw that he's better than Burrow. So he's mobile, he's physically durable. He's got a huge arm, like you say, he can make all the throws. Like skill wise and talent wise, he's top 5. I get what you're saying in terms of I don't think he's ever
I
been
don't think he's better than Tua.
what?
Yeah, I don't think he's better than Tua.
Okay, we can stop this conversation right here. All right, that's the end of the show, y'all. No, he's absolutely better than Tua. Tua can't win when it's under 40 degrees. What are we talking about? That's terrible. That's
And neither
terrible.
can Josh.
Josh plays in Buffalo. What are you talking
Exactly.
about? Of course
Exactly.
he can win when it's under 40 degrees. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Tua's never won a playoff game. We can't say that about Josh Allen.
Okay. So
All
he one step above Tua.
Yo, you disrespectful, son. All right, let's do this.
Never been a fan, bro. Never been a fan. I don't understand all the hype.
So, okay, I respect that. I respect if you say you've never been a fan and he's overhyped. And the reason actually, it's good that you say that. The reason that I brought this up is because there was a poll, an anonymous poll by NFL players, and Josh Allen, for whatever reason, was voted the most overrated player in the NFL, which I thought was absolutely insane. I thought that was crazy. But Josh Allen is that dude. He can beat you from the pocket. He can beat you playing mobile. He's big. He's strong. For a guy his size, he's got speed. There's not a lot he can't do. Like Josh Allen is, he's special, man. I go as far as to say this, right? Let's say that Josh Allen was playing for Andy Reid and not Pat Mahomes. We might be talking about Josh Allen the same way we talk about Pat Mahomes. Like Josh Allen's that good.
Nah, we gotta end the show. That's crazy.
Listen, man, coaching makes a huge difference.
That's crazy.
Coaching makes a huge difference
for everybody. I mean, the quarterback position is you can't touch the quarterback anymore. So how great is he? He can throw the ball when you're not allowed to really touch the quarterback, bro. Like you're not allowed to hit him. He don't. I mean, it's like somebody they have to really like hold you and tackle you and lay you down on the ground. Pause.
No, I agree.
Like they gotta lay you down. Yeah, like so it's not like, oh yeah, I just got hit and now I gotta get up and throw a 50-yard bomb after that. No, you're not getting trashed like you used to. So I mean, in this league, okay, all right, I get what you're saying. Like he's top 5 in your league, but
Yeah, I'm not
not
saying
in mine.
all time.
Yeah, nah, no. Top 5 in the league today. I don't got him
Yeah.
there. I still got Russell Wilson up there. I still got Russell Wilson up there. I still got Russell. I got Russell over
Cocaine
him.
is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, nah. You looking at this man like he
That's
gonna be
right.
the second, like he gonna like you looking at Josh Allen like he's gonna be that guy in 5 years. Like I don't see that at all.
Um,
Like I think he's gonna get worse.
it's possible.
Yeah,
It's
I think he's gonna
possible.
get worse.
He lost a lot. He lost 2 big time receivers, and
Yeah.
we'll
We gonna see if he is good as you say he is. Top
Mhm.
5, Mr. Top
Oh,
5 quarterbacks in the league.
He's
Yeah.
top 5. I did say top 5 or 6, but yeah, he's up there. He's up there. But let's hear what the odd couple had to say about this topic and Josh Allen being called overrated.
So for those that are saying like Josh is there with Mahomes, yeah, he's overrated. Outside of that, I don't think he's overrated. Like we are watching who I believe, and I think a lot of people, even those, and I don't say Mahomes is the GOAT. He's got to accomplish more. But he's the best I've ever seen. I think he's the best to ever play the position. And yet, over the last 5 years, Josh Allen has 23 more total, that includes rushing, but total touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes does. Allen is second to Mahomes in yards, total yards in the last 5 years, and in tied for second in playoff victories, which is 5, tied with Tom Brady, believe it or not, and Joe Burrow, and Mahomes is way out in front at number 1. And then Joe Burrow is tied for second in not tied, but in second with regular season victories over the last 5 years, second only to Mahomes. So I don't think he's overrated if you acknowledge him as like second, third, or fourth best quarterback in the league, which I think is where most people have him. But if you think he's with Mahomes, yeah, he's overrated.
Well, I think it was just, remember he's on the Madden cover, all of these things that lend into, well, how come Tariq wasn't on there? Or how come this was? How come so-and-so wasn't on it, right? Like, so when you start getting into that, then you'd be like, yeah, man, he overrated. He shouldn't be on the cover. It's as simple as that in some cases. Right? It ain't got nothing to do with numbers or anything like that. It's literally as simple as that. And he said, look, I love what he said. I'm not upset that 11 guys who are not on my team said I'm overrated. Yeah, that's a compliment. Obviously, would they have said it if they were on the team? No, right? Because they would benefit from what he does do. My only issue with Josh is the turnovers.
Right.
Right? Exactly. But this is what you see most of the times when you have a guy who can make every single throw. When you can make every throw, you tend to put the ball in harm's way, right? You're big, you're strong, you're powerful, you're mobile, you're on the move making throws. Like you tend to scramble out right and say, oh, I can get this all the way back across the field because you can get it there.
So you heard all those numbers, but you're still going to tell me you don't think Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback?
No, I said he can make all the throws. I started with that.
Right. But I'm talking about the numbers, the wins, the touchdowns, all those things that they just broke down in that little soliloquy.
Yeah, nah, he's not top 5, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I think teams know how to beat him in the playoffs. I think that's what it is. Teams know how to beat him when yeah.
Well, he's tied for second in playoff wins over the last 5 years, so
How many chips he got? Exactly. That means nothing.
Okay, no, you can't do that. That's lazy thinking. You can't say how many chips he got. That means nothing. We know how hard it is.
Counting playoff wins, like you won. Who are you playing? And it's the end of the season. Like everybody's hurt.
Yeah, but you're in the playoffs though. The NFL playoffs are probably the hardest one, right? And I would say it's harder to win a championship in the NFL than it is probably in any other sport. Like
I'm going with Flacco. I'm going with Flacco over Josh. You sound like a homer right now, bro.
I'm a Ravens fan, and I would not take Joe Flacco over Josh Allen. That's crazy.
I'm going with Flacco. He has the experience to win games, right? He has that chip to win game. I'm going with him, and he did. I seen him do it. We all
Of
saw
course
him
we
do it.
saw him do it. Yes, we saw him do it. But
Yep.
can he do what Josh Allen can do? That's the question. Does he have the ability to do what Josh Allen can do?
I'm not really sure what he can do, man. Like he a little mobile. He can run and get first downs. Yes, but he throw the turnovers. It's the turnovers, bro.
are big. Turnovers are huge.
Turnovers.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's wild. I think top 5 or 6 is very fair when you're talking about Josh Allen in terms of in the league. But you know,
how many turnovers did he have? Let me check.
I think he had 18 picks last year.
Oh my gosh. That's
horrible. Yeah, 18.
Man. He in your top 5.
29 touchdowns, 18 picks. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because he had 18 picks, but he's not necessarily like throwing games away. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
So I don't, you know, and then when you throw it a lot, unless you're super elite, you're gonna have picks. Like there's very few guys that throw for over 4,000 yards and the picks are low. Like that usually doesn't happen. So, you know,
we've seen it happen, but I mean, if
usually
if he's in top 5, he shouldn't be in top 5 with 18 goddamn interceptions, bro. Like no. You said 29 touchdowns, 18 picks. That's not elite, no.
So, but I don't think it could just come down to all stats or all like championships though. Like I always say, it's an amalgam of everything, you know.
You talking about interceptions or fumbles? Let me see.
No, picks, interceptions.
Picks. Oh, okay. We ain't even talking about fumbles and sacks.
Let me see. Well, you know, sacks are gonna happen. That's not necessarily always on the quarterback. Let me see. What's the fumble numbers? Where is it here? Fumble. I don't see it here. I'm looking in Pro Football Reference. I don't see the. Yeah, I don't see the fumble numbers. But yeah, 29 touchdowns and 18 picks. 5th in MVP voting. That was a problem. But all right. So yeah, so you do think he's overrated, right? Do you think he's the most overrated player?
I don't know.
Say again.
Do I think he's the most overrated player?
Mm-hmm. I can tell you who the most overrated player is. That's
all right, Dak, man. One of those big market teams.
Believe it or not, it's not Dak. Dak's not the most overrated player. The most overrated player is Justin Herbert. That's the most overrated player.
Who is Justin Herbert? Who's watching Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert for the Chargers.
Yeah.
I guarantee people are going to be watching this year because of Jim Harbaugh.
I saw something that Huntley was back.
I saw that too. I think they signed him today. Yeah. Cleveland cut him because Cleveland got Jameis Winston as the backup now. So they cut him in. Now he's back in Baltimore. He knows the system. Well, I guess he knows the old system, so he's got to learn this one. But clearly Baltimore is comfortable with him and they know what he's capable of doing. He almost beat Cincinnati in the playoffs a couple years ago.
He went to the Pro Bowl too.
Mm-hmm.
If that means anything. Another popularity contest.
Yeah, yes and no. But I hear you. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead. We'll leave it right there. If anybody has any comments they want to make, you can make it in the comments section, or you can call us at 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. This will be our last topic of the night before we get out of here.
All right, so hold on. So last year tour through 29 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 29 touchdowns on 14 interceptions.
Okay.
And he threw for 4,626 yards.
Yeah, I think he led the league.
Yeah. So for the chat, right? Bruce, I was not tripping. That's valid.
You're tripping. What?
Stat wise, that's valid.
Man, you've been around too long and played too many sports to chalk everything up to just stats or chips. That's a lazy thing. You know better than that. It's
I think
more
the media got everybody. Like when Tua got those 3 or 4 concussions, right? People just completely like marked him off as like not being a good quarterback. Like he was a good quarterback. He just got hurt. And the stain of getting concussions, and it's crazy how bad CTE is. People just assume like this kid just can't play. Like he still can play.
So nobody said he can't play, but you say you think that he's better than Josh Allen, which is absurd. There's nobody in their right mind who
I said
thinks
they neck and neck. I said neck and neck. I said they neck and neck.
They're absolutely not neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they got more wins than them too. So like I'm confused by what's the criteria for why this guy's over when he's a known pick. He throw almost 40% of the passes he throws going to end in the pick. Touchdown versus touchdown.
So you like stats, right? You
no,
like
I
stats.
don't. No,
yeah,
I don't.
you just finished giving me stats.
Nah. I just when I get to this point where I'm looking at stats, bro, that's because to me they like the same, and I'm not really seeing anything different.
That's
besides,
crazy.
Besides, the concussions and Josh Allen being more of a mobile quarterback than him.
So I'm gonna give you a few Tua stats then, right? So, and Tua has a record of 0-3 in games where the temperature, is below 40 degrees, right? In those games, he's completed only 57% of his passes with 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So you're just banging on Josh Allen for the interceptions, right?
I mean drops.
I don't know. It's not relevant, right? Were you counting drops with Josh Allen? You weren't, right?
I can.
But you weren't though. You was 18.
I mean, they about the same, bro. Think about it. You really think about it. Both of them up until last year, they had really good receiving core, and so they should be there in your top 5. They're not in my top 5 because I know it takes more than that to be a good quarterback. Like you have to be efficient when you don't have those wide receivers in this league, right?
But Tua has never been that. Tua wasn't that until he got
4,000 yards. 4,600 yards ain't bad, bro.
Yeah, because he has Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. he's got the ultimate speed show on the outside. That sure helps, right?
Josh Allen, the same thing. I said it was the same.
They're not the same, bro. They're not the same. Because I guarantee you, if you swap them, Tua is going to fail miserably and Josh Allen is going to succeed. They are not the same. There's no way. No way. But that's cool, though. We'll sit back and we'll watch, and you'll see who's going to be better at the end of the day. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and leave it right here. It looks like we're not going to get any calls. This was an easy, smooth show. Probably really threw people off this odd time that we came on here tonight. But those of you who watched the show and joined us, I appreciate that. So we probably won't do another show at this time. Doesn't look too good. But
they was either gonna be drunk or breathing heavy.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Appreciate you all coming out, man. If you're in the chat, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you share the show with other people who want to hear a different view on this sports talk stuff, man. No show tomorrow night. I probably got to do a community tab post about that on YouTube. No show tomorrow night because I will be enjoying Notre Dame at Texas. Hopefully I'll be enjoying Notre Dame at Texas A&M. So we'll find out. But everybody have a good night, man. I appreciate y'all. And we'll be back, I guess, probably Tuesday night with Ryan Langford, wrapping up the college football weekend. And then probably again Wednesday night with our normal Wednesday show. So, yeah, we out. Peace. If I can end the show.
Yeah, it don't. Yeah, yep.
That's glitchy.
Yeah.